every single thing that has ever saved a life medically has been researched. So when we're talking about defunding research, when we're talking about defunding cancer research because we don't have a cure yet, when we're talking about defunding neuroscience research because people still get Alzheimer's, people still get Parkinson's, our life expectancy now is what it is because of research.
That's exactly what we did.
Yeah, hey.
Oh, that was a good one.
I'm not gonna lie.
You dabbed me up on the back.
I did.
Hey.
It was instinct. You somehow didn't do it.
I didn't do it because I saw the green. I saw how clean that green was. I said,
right when I
gotta let it go.
It was like a freeze frame moment. I was like, ooh.
If your memories throughout your life were paintings in a gallery, what style would they be in? What would they look like? Picasso. I like that.
Thinking of like one of those where you can't really tell what the
Yeah.
painting is, but they have the eyes here and the other eyes there.
Okay.
You kind of putting together like
Picasso-y.
the face. Yeah.
Yeah. Take your time too. That's it.
Say it again.
Like dreamy, faded, but color.
Mm.
Sort of like the sound of Bailey Eilish's voice.
Oh.
You know how she's so dreamy and romantic. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, it fits like
Rosy.
your outfit too. I get
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Are you recording? Oh.
Yeah, is that all right?
That's fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Robert Terrell, light
Oh.
stuff.
Okay. Like, what does it look like? I'm not familiar.
You walk into a fucking room, it's got different shades of colors, you lose perspective, and it's kind of like an experience.
Wow, did he do the Hotline Bling video? Is that what
He
that's
might
from?
have.
Yeah.
It looks very similar to that.
Okay.
Abstract.
Abstract,
Yeah.
like Picasso
Word,
abstract.
color, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like messy, like just all over the place.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Do you want them like realistic, like photos, or do you want them to be like really messy and just colorful?
All the above.
All the above. Yeah.
Because that's the way life has been.
Mm.
I'm 65 years old, so
Wow.
it's been dark, it's been bright, it's been like a rainbow, it's been abstract, it's been still shots, it's been everything. It's been views of mountains,
Wow.
So.
Beautiful. What's up? This is episode 1 of Between Two Canvases. I'm AJ, and here with me, I have the great pleasure of introducing our first guest on Between Two Canvases. He has a bachelor's graduate of the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Vanderbilt University graduate of clinical mental health counseling. He was recently accepted as a dual doctorate of clinical psychology and neuroscience at Indiana University. He has published research, years of experience with transcranial modulation, I get that right? And he's helped people with treatment-resistant depression. Former basketball player, son, partner, and my dear friend, Sean Yarrell. Woo!
Oh, that was solid.
Yeah! Hey, you're cold, man.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here, man. This is a cool spot too.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for, agreeing to do this, and yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, none left to do but to do it. Let's get us some paint here.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
So all these colors you see are actually the theme colors of this show.
Okay.
So we got like our primary colors and then white and black. Cause I'm white and black, and you are too.
Hey.
Huh? But that's not the reason. But we're doing it. Okay, so for starters, pick up this big crayon-looking thing. Okay.
Yep.
So what we're first gonna do is, all right, I want you to close your eyes, grab the canvas, so you kind of know where it's at. We're gonna close our eyes, and I want you just think about how your day's been today. Think about how your week's been. What you're feeling right now, all the energy. And I just want you to let your mind and body guide where this big crayon goes on the canvas, okay? So just, right now with me, we're gonna close our eyes and, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Also, ready, set, go. Just kind of move around, think about how your day's been. has been tight, tense, loose. Just whatever your body needs right now, just move it about the canvas however you feel fit.
All right, yeah.
So I'm ready. All right, let's go for a few more seconds here. Get it all out, whatever you need. And stop. All right, wow, man. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So, yeah, let's get to it, man. We can add to this.
Yeah.
You can accentuate what you see there. Let's take a moment to appreciate it. Mine's looking like curly and kind of square and just a lot of squigglies going on. A lot of like the letter Y looking things. How about yours?
Mine looks kind of like a Spider-Man emblem, but like if you try to draw it with your offhand, off of memory, but you only saw it once like 10 years ago.
Yeah. That reminds me of like those NFL players when they try to draw like the logo of their team. Have you seen those? And it's always like
that's
terrible.
Exactly what it's like. Yeah, it's horrible.
Hey.
But hey,
we're here.
it is what it is.
Okay, man. So let's just, feel free to use some water with whatever color you want to use and get into it. And don't be afraid to make a mess, man.
Oh.
That's what we're here for. So, before we even get into it and we're just grabbing colors here, I'm going to start with this big sponge because why not? What color has been influencing your life lately? Has there been like any?
Yeah. That's an interesting question. I feel like green, honestly. I think I kind of wear a lot of green. I gravitate towards green. I feel like it's kind of just calming.
Yeah.
But probably green. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, is it like the color green you're wearing now? Because first of all, that's a great color. Like it's so.
Yeah.
It's earthy, but it's still kind of like it has style to it. And I feel like green is a color that can get like corny very fast. Yeah. But like that's like a great green. Is it that sort of color or is it like?
It's like really like pale green or like this color green. I don't go for the neons really.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I guess green has just been it.
Man.
Even throughout like the whole process, the last couple of months, like I just kept accumulating green things. And I guess, I don't know. Green lucky Omar spilling on the canvas.
So is it, you said you've been accumulating green things. Is it mostly clothes or is there like any items that have been green that you've kind of messing with?
Yeah, so my water bottle that I use and bring to work every day is green. Clothes, my phone is green, my phone case is green. There's a lot of green. I don't even think it's been like an intentional thing. It's just been like, I looked up and next thing I knew, I had a lot of green. Someone actually pointed out to me, a client was like, you rock a lot of green.
Yeah.
I was like, I do.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
Man, thank you for asking. I think like tan, like the kind of the color that we're wearing on this apron right now. I don't know why. I've just been kind of getting into like that earthy sand color, kind of like off-white, I guess. Because white is so like clean and crisp and I don't know, it represents formality, I think. Yeah. And then just kind of stepping right outside of that, like trying to still be formal, but like expressive and like tan for some reason has ended up being that for me. But yeah, man.
So nice neutral color. Get it?
Yeah, right?
So, goes with everything.
So, another question for you.
Yeah.
Where does your typical day and creativity intersect?
It looks different than this.
Yeah.
This creativity is definitely outside of the box for me, and I really appreciate that because I feel like I don't incorporate this kind of thinking enough. To where like I feel like I'm sitting here looking at the canvas and I'm like, I don't know what to do next, but I want to just let it kind of happen.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm like doing research work like with the lab or whatever it may be, or if I'm in session, that creativity kind of flows in that way where it's comfortable, it's natural. Or if I'm writing a paper trying to kind of find, or if I'm doing research with neuromodulation or brain surgery, whatever it is, trying to think of it in a way that can be applied generally, but is also in some way novel, because you don't want to just keep doing things circular, you know. So I guess trying to kind of find new ground that can at some point be a common ground, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, wow, I love the way you phrase that. Kind of like thinking into the future, but also thinking like macro and micro. Like how is this impacting me directly, or how can this impact others directly, but also on a bigger scale? That's definitely a lot of, I feel like, creative work. I think creativity in a way is like problem solving, I think a lot of people say, right? And in your day-to-day work, do you feel like you're problem solving often?
Yeah, I think especially, I mean, it looks different, right? Like with therapy work, as you would know, each person requires a different kind of creativity and problem solving. So I think in that way, kind of just meeting people where they are, whereas like with more quantitative research, like in the lab, it's kind of, in a way, formulaic. Like you follow your methodology, you follow to the point where you can get in a groove and your creativity is yours. Like you do things in your way with your fingerprint on it. Therapy is cool because I feel like it's two hands on the same canvas and you're both painting it together, so it's gonna look different every single time.
Yeah, even with like the same client in different sessions and different times in their life.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. I love that. I love that. That's, man. So like, to those who don't know, what does a day look like for you? Like, what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So most days I work, well, I guess not most days, but a lot of days I work at a residential facility out in East Nashville, and I work there for the first few hours of my day. Then I head across town and I'll either go to the lab or do research, or I'll go to another clinic and work there for, see individuals for like, I guess, 5-ish hours. I'll go see like 5 in a day. Okay. The end of my weeks is research. So whether it's like we're writing a manuscript, we're looking at neuroimaging, whatever it is, just it feels like a lot of reading and a lot of writing, a lot of notes, a lot of catching up on notes I've found. I fall behind on notes. That's what gives for me. But that's the typical day. I think trying to find time for all the fun stuff is honestly more where the creativity comes in, I think. Trying to find little hours here and there to kind of do something fun like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of driving around, man.
Yeah, I didn't know you travel that much for your day. Like, is there anything you do in between sessions? You're seeing clients. Obviously, like, sometimes seeing clients can impact us. And is there anything you do on the drive kind of expressively that helps you, clear your mind before doing something different, changing gears?
Yeah, music, honestly. Music is big for me, and kind of tuning the music into what mood I feel like I need at that moment. So if it's been like an especially hard day, like either leaning into it with, I'm from Atlanta. So
okay, talk your talk.
Talk to me. I'll lean towards like Future or something to kind of like lean into it or hype me up for the rest of my day.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm doing research, I'll go with something like jazz or R&B or something like that, like really slow, kind of steady, so that I'm just able to kind of sail through it.
Yeah.
I use music a lot. But yeah, man, like, we'll get together with you and Mariah and hang out during free time and kind of all decompress and talk about random stuff. Go play basketball, just finding different ways to mix it up, kind of keep my body off balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that I'm not just falling into this same like cyclical kind of routine where I just know what to expect from every single day. I don't want to get to that point where I know exactly what to expect. I like kind of some uncertainty, spur of the moment kind of stuff.
Yeah, being able to mix it up and just change pace.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. I mean, I can even hear it. Obviously, there's, inspiration somewhere down the line of jazz from Future, but to the common ear on a day-to-day basis, Future is very different than like listening to jazz too. So even in the way that you listen to music too, that being so different.
Yeah,
man.
I love that too. The common ear. I'm gonna start saying that I've got like a refined ear. As I'm like listening to Future and like.
yeah.
But no, I definitely get what you're saying. I think I don't know. Music is powerful, man. I think incorporating that any way I can. I listen to a lot of music. You see me around like campus with an AirPod in all the time. Back in
of course.
there, you know. It's as I know you dabble.
I dabble
in the music.
You know, if they know, I make a little music. But yeah, man. So turning this like kind of in a different tone, but you're a therapist. You listen to people. You help people. You obviously hear a lot of different things being a therapist.
Yeah.
How has other people's stories impacted your own story?
Whew. That's a good question. I think trying to answer this without sounding corny, but it's okay. It's okay to go corny, I think. I think every single time we interact with somebody, especially for an hour at a time where people are being really vulnerable, especially coming from at least a background where vulnerability wasn't that glamorous or sometimes maybe accepted. Being more comfortable with that even as a therapist in my own life, but also just learning, man. Like all day, you ask me what my day looks like, it's learning, I think.
Wow. After
you ask that last question, you know, whether it's, you know, talking to 7 people in a row about whatever it is they want to talk about, or it's reading research. It's just every single person you interact with is going to teach you something about them and yourself. It's been a pretty cool aspect of listening to people all day. It's a lot of perspectives.
Yeah.
A lot of perspectives.
So you're saying therapists don't have all the answers.
No.
And they're people too, and even as you're talking to new people, you learn different things about yourself and how you can help others.
Yeah. Oh, look, I wish I could say, actually I don't. I don't even wish I had all the answers, but I definitely know I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
And our job isn't even to pretend we have all the answers, right? Like, if we're walking down a path, this is a kind of a metaphor I use a lot, but they're the ones who are holding the light and we're just walking with them. And sometimes if they shine the light off to the right, but what they, you know, maybe could benefit from looking at is over to the left, just encouraging them where to shine the light. But Beautiful. I certainly don't have the answers. Maybe some information that can inform the answers, but I don't have the answers.
Man, I love that perspective. I love the way you phrase that too. I like to say like, we're like skydiving instructors.
That's good. Yeah.
And it's like, we skydive with you to teach you how to skydive, and eventually you'll get to skydive like kind of on your own. But I love that, you know, you take the approach, it sounds like, of this person is definitely guiding the experience, and you're kind of in the passenger seat, like informing what's happening.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a responsibility for sure. But I think it's a cool one to have. It's a unique one to have as well. Because we do it all the time in our personal lives, right? But it's so much different. I think it's so much more nuanced, and you can get really good at one thing. And if you get really good at one thing, that one thing's eventually not going to be enough in therapy. Because the next person who comes in might really not want that one thing.
I see what you're saying.
So like you said, just kind of, you said the skydiving instructor, or walking down a path, that path isn't going to be the same path we go on every time, and each jump isn't going to be the same jump every single time. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
Kind of being able to adapt to that.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely an advantage of having a more, like a humanistic, not only a humanistic approach, but just having different tools in your tool belt for different type of people that you interact with. That's what it sounds like too. And I know you're, you know, a multifaceted individual and have a lot of tools in your tool belt, and being able to switch gears, you know, and change what aspects, maybe even of yourself, that you're able to access around other people. And even like, you know, on some real talk, real quick, on some real shit. even like code switching in a way. Like I'll speak for myself at least, but like, you know, being black and white, it's like certain aspects of being black are accepted in certain places and some aren't, and some aspects of being white are accepted in certain places and some aren't. Yeah. And I've found it's helped me as a therapist even, and it's not to say necessarily it was always a good thing, but it just is a tool that is in the tool belt, and it's just something like living as a mixed person. Does that feel like relevant to you or your story?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in a lot of ways, kind of finding where your identity is, and like you said, code switching, like where is that not okay to do, but like where is it that I can be my authentic self and be taken for it, be accepted for it, and kind of even with, you know, within like the therapeutic lens, kind of that disclosure, like evaluating what to disclose, what not to disclose, in the professional sense, in the academic sense, whatever it is. I think even just showing parts of yourself within its own realm is a disclosure. How do you do it? You know? This is getting a little convoluted over here with the canvas, but I'm kind of rocking with it.
Yeah, I know, and that actually leads to my next question. How do you feel about what's on the canvas right now? And tell me about what thoughts and feelings have come up as you've been doing this painting right now.
Yeah. Man, so like I said, I painted once before and it was a dog. So the whole time I was painting, I was like, I'm painting a dog. With this, it feels more like just kind of an expression. It's messy, but I didn't really have a plan. I think I told you, I was I think I told you, I was like, I know what I want to paint. And you were like, you're not going to paint that. Yeah. And I didn't. Yeah. But it's weird seeing how you're like, you know, close your eyes and just let your mind kind of put what's on here, and then opening my eyes and it just like popping off the page at like, this is what it's going to be. Are we doing like some kind of reveal at the end? Like, should I just, you know?
No. You can show it if you want, but I just want to know like more of like, you can even show me like exactly where, like, is there a certain place where you had like a doubt on the painting where you're like, oh, this shouldn't look like this? Yeah, there is. You want me to see? Yeah,
look. The first thing when I said it looked like a Spider-Man emblem was just the red all over.
Yeah.
Right? But like you mentioned, I just got into a program and that process was very stressful. When you talk about things like code switching, right? My first year when I first, said I wanted to go into STEM, and this was a long time ago, my first year in college, I was at a small school in a rural town in Georgia, and I was met with an answer of, are you sure you want to go into STEM? Because not a lot of people who look like you do. At 18, that's like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't. Then we get into the kind of dialogue of like, this to me was like an asterisk, but with arrows at the end. So like you can go in these different paths.
Wow.
And so we go from being marginalized to now when you reach a place that you shouldn't reach, it can kind of come with this connotation of like, you got here because of that.
Yeah.
When realistically, we got here with that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we got here in spite of that. So the uncertainty was like, at first I didn't want to go over the lines with this, and it got all blurry, but then I was like, that's kind of how it is. Like these paths were never so linear. But yeah, I didn't expect it to kind of just like take off like that.
Wow.
But it did, and I'm still going, so.
Yeah, I'm still going. Man, I love that explanation. I love you tying that all together into the topic of you, growing up with your identity and having that, and people putting you in a box and trying to make your life linear. When I love how you explain it. It's like we all know damn well any of our lives weren't linear. Yeah. And so in some effort to try to control themselves, they try to control you and put you in a box. And it's like, it doesn't work that way with any of us. Nah. Beautiful, man, beautiful. Like, I just want to encourage us as we continue, like, let's keep overcoming any doubts we have about what we're doing. Let's keep expressing ourselves. Let's be free with this.
I like what you just said too, man. It's just like not letting other people dictate what your path should be.
Mm.
Sometimes it's hard to say, not letting people dictate what your path is, because sometimes things shake out that way, but letting people tell you what you are and what you should be, I think that's where all the fog comes in.
Yeah.
Right? I like that you put it that way. I agree, man. It's hard to do, though.
It's hard, right? And I think it's like Wallow 267 said this, but like different levels, different devils, right? And I think that's part of like growing up. There is a time in your life, in our lives as humans, where like following trends is completely normal. Like following trends is kind of like what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be in the status quo because everyone around you, that's what you're learning from, like social learning. Like, oh, my dad didn't teach me how to dribble a basketball, but like Mike at school, he dribbles real good. Okay, show me how to dribble. So it's like, I got to follow him and emulate that. Eventually, like, you know, we develop and we grow, and you probably got to a point in your life. You said you were 18, that's what you thought you should do. But now, at the age you are now, you know, like, if someone tells me that, like, that's just a load, you know, like, get out of here with that. And how do you feel like, big question, but how do you feel like you've developed throughout your life? Like the path you have taken, the direction you are going, how do you feel about it?
That is a big question. I feel great about it. I think that there were certainly times along the way where it could have been more linear, and it probably could have been quicker. But I think that all of the fog and all of the different paths and experiences, even the horrible ones, have really led to like an enrichment in a way, right? Like where I feel like I do have a greater appreciation of this, and I feel more prepared for it as well. Like this is something that I've worked for a really long time, and people attaching things like asterisks to whatever it may be, I feel like carry less weight now because there's not that as much imposter syndrome creeping in. It's still there, but not as intensely, I guess. I think a big piece of it, especially like, you know, we start our journey so young, man. And in that time, it's like, I know what I want to do for myself. I know this, I know that, I know that. Look, I don't know. We don't know a lot. And I think I've gotten very comfortable in not knowing. And I get excited in not knowing because there's so much to learn, and our learning has so much impact across a variety of ways. And I think that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just like this excitement for the next chapter to learn and to, you know, we want to help people. Like, how can the knowledge we gain do that? That's where my journey has led me, man. That's the kind of, I guess, broad appreciation that I've got right now. Met some cool folks along the way, like I said earlier, like you, Mariah, you know, out here in Nashville, where as a kid, I'm moving to Nashville, not a kid, but, you know, early 20s moving to Nashville. I'm like, I don't want to move to Nashville. Now here we are, painting in this room. Yeah,
exactly. We've come a long way, man. It's been a hell of a journey.
Oh my God,
I love what you said, like you've grown real comfortable in the unknown. And I think that's something a lot of people today, it's not okay. And there's I would argue, getting into our early 20s, mid 20s, late teens, the unknown grows bigger and bigger. And so it forces us to be even more comfortable in it. How do you feel like that's served you, like being in the unknown, being comfortable with not knowing what's going to happen in your life? Like, how has that helped?
I think stepping outside of the box a little bit, right? Like I said earlier, it's so easy to go into autopilot and just keep doing the things we're comfortable with, keep doing the things we know we're good at. But in that sense, I feel like we're kind of selling ourselves short by limiting like all of the potential that we have by not recognizing it, out of whatever it may be, out of fear of that uncertainty, out of general apprehension or contentment or whatever it may be. I think kind of pushing that boundary to keep exploring ourselves, exploring subjects, exploring the people around us, like really having conversations that seem meaningless, like our conversation about which animals we feel like we could survive if they attacked us in the wild. just, all the different kind of unknowns. There's so much to unpack in each one of them. And I guess really being selectively open to experiencing those unknowns.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope
Thank
that
you
makes
for
sense.
that perspective. No, it did make a lot of sense. I think it's a good way to combat nihilism that we see a lot in people today, like the thought that, man, the world is terrible and nothing's going to change, and people have definitely a right to feel that way, and I think that's definitely valid to feel that way. But I think there can be the combat to that, the defense to that is hope and trust in the process of growth, and knowing that, I think in your experience of life, that before you know something, you have to know that you don't know it. You have to come to a point of like, oh man, this is not going. It's not going the way I thought.
Yeah.
It's time to be a kid. It's toddler time, Sean.
Toddler time.
It's toddler time.
Trademark.
So throw on your gloves. I got some gloves for you here. No matter where you're at in the process, I have a lot of doubts about where I'm at. I thought this would look a lot different than it does.
I'm right there with you.
I got some insecurities, like I'm supposed to be the artist here. Mine looks like shit. But here we are. Toddler time, throw on some gloves, Sean. We're just gonna finish this painting off with our what are these called? Nubiles? No, the fingers. What are I don't know. But it is toddler time. Yeah, buddy. So as we get going here, the literal polar opposite of toddler time, I'm gonna ask you a question. You've studied and been involved with neuroscience and cognition. What new discoveries do you think are on the way in your field?
That's a good question. Oh man, I think an emphasis on combination treatments will continue to kind of emerge as like a gold standard. I think right now, at least historically, we've kind of got this pharmacology, like psychopharmacology emphasis, but now with the rise of like new technology and neuromodulation techniques and all these different things, I think we'll kind of have more of a one-size-fits-all type of treatment modality where we can have a neuromodulation technique that directly alters these different circuits, where we can also have, adjunctive therapy that can continue to kind of reinforce those alterations. I think if I had to say where I think things are going, I would say that would definitely be a part of it. And I think it's an exciting thing to think about, just because of all of the different implications it can have with long-lasting kind of effects and accessibility and all these different things. I'm really messing with using the hands, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad. So what you're saying, because I know for a fact, the people who just got you, they got you, okay? The people who didn't get you, you just flew way over their head. So and that's you being you. I'm not asking you to be any different, baby. But
I appreciate it.
I think, in layman's terms, are you saying we're getting away from having like a one-size-fits-all approach and finding things that are more individualized, or?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Right? Like I think we'll have a treatment that can work transdiagnostically, or like whatever kind of diagnosis you come with, whatever kind of symptom presentations you have, we have an approach that can hopefully directly treat that. The individualized part comes in where we can use that in a very unique way for whoever's in front of us, right? Through neuroimaging, through therapy, through pharmacology on, an equivalent path, and just kind of balancing those things out, and almost like a puzzle, right? To where we've got the piece where the cap may fit, but how can we get it to, mold to the person?
Yeah, okay. I see a lot of similarities between that and kind of like therapy.
Yeah.
Where you kind of have like the general scheme of where this person fits and you know this will help them, but then also having access and ability to sit with the person in the room and know, well, this may go against the whole modality, this may go against the whole template, but this is what this person necessarily needs for what their issue is, their problem.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
It really is, because I mean, right now I think it's kind of like it either works or it doesn't right now in a lot of ways, right? So how can we continue finding ways that work, and if it doesn't work, okay, well now we can kind of shift it with that kind of individualized medicine approach. Because there's a lot of people who it doesn't work for, the current way at least. And so just figuring out ways to reach different populations of people, reach people who these haven't traditionally worked for. That's what really excites me, and that's kind of been the basis of my research goals, is that translational kind of, we research this with the intent of it working clinically.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a mess right here.
It gets messy, man. It gets messy in the field. But it gets messy in the field, brother. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, this isn't just research just to do research. This isn't research to advance a theory, even though that may be what you're doing. But this is research where you or someone else can turn around and use this to help someone and have a direct impact in the world.
Yeah, and like you said, talk about some real stuff real quick earlier.
Yeah.
All the dialogue about research from people in the world, that it's just throwing stuff at a wall and we need to defund and do all this and do all that. Every single thing that has ever saved a life medically has been researched. So when we're talking about defunding research, when we're talking about defunding cancer research because we don't have a cure yet, when we're talking about defunding neuroscience research because people still get Alzheimer's, people still get Parkinson's, our life expectancy now is what it is because of research. We don't die at 30 anymore because of research. So that's a quick step up and step off of the soapbox, is just
No.
we are here largely because of research in the physical health aspect, mental health aspect. Like, research drives these things forward. So, let's keep doing it.
Absolutely. And I think not all of what I'm about to say is true, but like, recently there's been an influx of like hate towards Western medicine.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Western medicine is the only thing where research exists, obviously.
For sure.
However, a lot of Western medicines that are used because they're well researched.
Yes.
And I think, what you said is very valid. Like, there are things and there are applied medical techniques that work because they work, and to take that away, or to like say that everything is natural and like we need to use all these natural things. It's like the humans who made these and researched it, like these are natural causes as well, just because it doesn't happen, because it happens in a LED lit white light hospital and it feels too sterile, doesn't mean that at one point this wasn't some like courageous organic act. It's
I don't know. A lot of the dialogue kind of feels like expecting to watch a 2-hour movie in 45 minutes. It's like, well, we haven't gotten to the end point yet, which must mean, no, just watch the movie. Like, just sit down and watch the movie.
Just calm your...
no, just take a second, take a minute.
Yeah. Okay, and we're coming to the end here, so whatever you got going, let's begin to wrap it up. But I got one final question for you, Sean, and I really appreciate you being here today.
Of course, I appreciate you having me here.
What is your vision for a better future, and how can listeners help?
I think I'm going to start with the how can listeners help. I think all of us practicing tolerance, right? I think for a better future, it's kind of being able to reach across various aisles, and stop trying to make everything so segmented and so embattled. I mean, we're seeing it in every aspect right now that could contribute to social betterment. We're seeing vitriol, and we're seeing hatred, and we're seeing all these things really kind of be stoked a little bit. How can we reach across the aisle and repair and kind of come back together and collaborate? That might be a naive viewpoint, but I think at least in our field and in the neuroscience field, that theme remaining, tolerance, that theme of inclusivity, that theme of diversity, intellectual diversity, experiential diversity, racial diversity, all coming together to form a truly holistically collaborative process. I mean, that's how we get things that work for more than this line of people, this line of people, this line of thinking. I think that, man. I think that.
Yeah. If we want to get to where we're going in the world, we got to cross boundaries. We can't let these, superficial lines get in our way. And I'm sure much of the great research that's happened and people around the world, they've grasped from practices and ideas and people who were nothing like them or far from them,
Yeah. Like, I mean, exactly that. Like, you learn something from everybody from any walk of life. It's just the willingness to kind of listen and the willingness to learn. Learning doesn't have to always be formal. It can be a conversation on the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, with that being said, you all right if we wrap up right here?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Thank you so much, Sean. I really appreciate it. Let's kind of turn our canvases inward. Don't be afraid to get paint on the easel.
Finishing
That's
touch.
what it's for,
Yeah. Oh, yours is dope.
It's to the
That's
man.
cool.
Oh, I love it, man.
Walk me through it. Let me see what you do.
Yeah, I could talk my talk a little bit. No, I'm playing. I don't know. At some point in here, I was trying to kind of like make a face, and I really didn't like the way it was turning out, so I like covered it. I was trying to balance like, okay, let me remain as a listener. Let me remain intentful. Let me remain here with Sean, and also like, wait, can I still be an artist and do that?
Yeah.
And like seeing that it's all abstract. Wait, but like, is that enough? Is that enough for people? A lot of like, is that enough feelings coming up in me? And you know what? It is. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to express ourselves. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a conversation. That's exactly what we did, man.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, that was a good one.
I'm not gonna lie.
You dapped me up on the back.
I did.
Hey.
It was instinct. You somehow didn't do it.
I didn't do it because I saw the green. I saw how clean that green was. I said,
Right when I
I gotta let it go.
It was like a freeze frame moment. I was like, ooh.
No, you're good. I'm here to get messy.
Yeah, cool.
Talk to me a little bit about what you got going here, man.
Yes, like I said, I think this kind of just, I don't know why the asterisk jumped out at me. Maybe because, I just got into this program 2 weeks ago, and for me, like that was like the weight of the world lifted. But then all the colors, man, I got yellow for like moments of apprehension or like feeling unsure or timid. I got blue because there was some ups and downs, just like the different, like red, IU is red, one, got red and white in here, but also like, I don't know, it's like we go through a lot of intensity in our work, through other people sharing their intensity, and so how do we kind of transform it? How do you take it out of the water? I just did like a water bending. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like even in clean processes, right? Like something where you action A leads to action B and then the result is C, it's messy. There's so much that goes into it that really, each step should be noticed, each step should be celebrated, each step should be appreciated, or not.
Right.
But yeah, I think that was kind of like just the messiness of it. A lot of fog.
Yeah, I love it. That's life, man. That's life. Yeah. I love that it was messy, but you wanted, I'm not gonna say you wanted, but like it felt like you were trying to keep the integrity of the asterisk. Like it meant something to you. It had some meaning, and this being here was important to this process.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think just having that, like you said, kind of having the awareness of how our identities show up, and so many people with the intersectionality, I guess, also of the asterisk, but the intersectionality, like somewhere someone's going to try to put an asterisk by something that they've accomplished, or something that they are, or something that they feel. And it's like, you know, in those, what's your path, I guess. But yeah.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
After
thank
this,
you.
we'll take a picture.
All right.
But yeah, thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming on here. I really appreciate you,
course.
Sean.
Sorry for putting paint on your back.
No, it's all good. It's legit.
Actually, no, we're good. There's none. Hey.
Nah, man, but thank you. You're dope. Great, great talking with you. I really appreciate it. And until next time, man.
Yeah, it's been fun.
All right.
My second time painting, man.